Good morning, everyone. I would like to wish the warmest of welcomes to everyone here today. My name is Becky Kemp-Arnold, and I'm honoured to be here as your 2021 to 2022 Student Union President. It is the greatest privilege and a truly humbling experience to speak to you all on such a special and monumentous occasion as your graduation. And I am here today to wish the biggest of congratulations to every single one of our graduates for persevering through the many successes and occasional failures that have led you to where you are today. When I look around this room, I see exceptional individuals who have overcome unimaginable challenges. Undoubtedly, you have had to adapt to the uncertainty of living through a pandemic, as well as the everyday trials of student life. The last 2 years have truly shown that life can be unpredictable and challenging, but you survived it and built skills in resilience and adaptability that will stay with you for life. On behalf of myself and all the graduates here, thank you to the family, friends, and staff members who have gone above and beyond to support our students, regardless of if they can be here today or not. Whether you are an educator or a loved one on call through stressful times, your support has played a vital role in getting our graduates to where they are today. It is so important to show gratitude to those who have supported you and stuck by your side. And remember, there are always those who believe in you, even when it is hard to find that strength within yourself. Although I'm not yet a graduate like yourselves, I have no doubt that your path to get to this point has been one of continuous learning. It is very likely you have made sacrifices and faced adversity. However, I hope you can look back with pride on the lessons your experiences have taught you. We all come from different walks of life, but each of you has brought a unique perspective and breathed life into our community. I hope you can remember that your legacy lives on through the relationships and memories you have made, as well as the hope you have given to existing students by getting here today. It is incredibly impressive to me how you have conquered academic challenges as well as building communities through your friendships, classmates, and societies. Many of you may feel you have matured or grown up in your time at St. George's, and in a demanding and often pressurizing environment, this can be very tough. Despite this, you have given one another support and love, which is what I believe makes us all stronger. The lessons I have learnt from you, the students, are not ones which can be taught in lectures. You have taught me that, of course, you can be a scientist and a keen performer. You have taught me that coffee is essential to getting through a long day in the library. But most importantly, you have taught me that united we are stronger together. As you move through your careers, I hope you can stay ambitious and determined. But it is important for me to remind you of something, and that is to show yourself the same compassion and forgiveness which you are likely to give freely to others. There are tough times ahead, but you have proven to yourself that you can get through it. Knowing you all gives me hope for the future of science and healthcare, but equally hope for humanity. This is why each and every one of you is an inspiration to me and a credit to St. George's. I hope that today you can feel proud of yourself and bask in the glory of getting to the place where you once dreamed of being. You did it. Congratulations again to everyone here, and I will leave you with the wise words of Dr. Mary MacLeod Bethune. Believe in yourself, learn, and never stop wanting to build a better world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Becky, for that lovely introduction. I also would like to add my very warm welcome to everybody who's here today. Graduands, parents, supporters and friends. Our Chair of Council, colleagues, guests and our honorary graduand, Professor Paul Jones, who we'll be hearing from later. Graduation ceremonies are always a cause for celebration, but never more so than this year. It's absolutely delightful to be finally here in person. It's the first time we've been able to hold ceremonies since 2019. I'm thrilled that over the 7 ceremonies to be held this month, that we are welcoming graduands from the 2020, 2021 and current year cohorts. There are a wonderful array of staff here on the stage today, but there are a small numbers who've been unable to attend due to their clinical commitments. But they all, everybody in this auditorium and elsewhere, are incredibly proud of you, the students, who are now graduates. Before proceeding, I'd just also like to take a moment to acknowledge what COVID has taken from us. It interfered with most aspects of our daily living, but it also took people from us. And I'd like to acknowledge that there may be an empty seat in this auditorium, or there may be individuals which would have been part of your wider celebrations that are no longer with us today. And this is really to acknowledge what an incredibly difficult circumstance has happened in so many people's lives, and just how well you've done in thriving in these circumstances and studying during this time. We're very proud of the journey that you've taken and the triumph of being here today. In March 2020, many of us were forced to work remotely in virtual meetings, and online lessons became the new normal. We all found different ways to cope, and for many that involved doing. Taking on new and different work, volunteering in a multitude of ways, whether delivering vaccines in clinics, doing long shifts in intensive care, and a myriad of other ways in which we supported each other and the wider community. More than 170 students helped distribute food and self-care items throughout the hospital and beyond. As their normal life was shut down, there was selflessness demonstrated and the serving of others. There isn't time to name check everybody, but you know who you are, and also, I hope, the difference that you made. It was also quite an interesting and challenging time to be a year representative, and these are students who liaise between the members of staff and the course. And I'd like to thank Anissa Senham, who worked for Diagnostic Radiography, Andrew and Josh for Paramedic Science, Shanice and Aaliyah in Physiotherapy, Benita and Insia in Radiotherapy and Oncology. There are others amongst you that have held such roles in previous years, and I'd like to thank you very much for your time and commitment, and the liaison and the great job that you did. And it's really important, the feedback between staff and students, and us working together as a team. Another achievement to highlight amongst those gathered is those that received national recognition with the impact of their online teaching. Benita and Cornelie recently presented research into online education at the prestigious Advance HE conference, a new, unique opportunity and indeed making us all very proud. COVID-19 has brought the importance of our specialist research very much to the fore. Our strengths were in sharp focus, and the university made its own contribution to help the world find its way out of the biggest health crisis for a generation. Researchers from our Vaccine Institute played a vital role in the development of COVID vaccines, acting as a site for major trials of the Moderna, Oxford, Novavax and Imperial vaccines. And the Institute's work continues, currently leading the world's first Omicron-specific trial. Last month, we welcomed, alongside the Hospital Trust, the now former Health and Social Care Secretary, Sajid Javid, to Tooting. On his visit, he showcased the £1 billion government partnership investment with vaccine manufacturer Moderna. He chose to come to St George's, in part because of our world-leading team of vaccine researchers, led by Professor Paul Heath. Earlier in the same year, St George's worked alongside obstetrician Professor Asma Khalil to show that COVID vaccination during pregnancy, which some of you will recall was very contentious, had important benefits. It reduced the chance of stillbirth by 15% and also showed that vaccination is 90% effective without increasing the risks to mother and baby. We are continuing to find new ways to contribute to the vaccine response. We have an element of entrepreneurship, and we've linked up with a London startup that's developing a mask that can detect COVID in the air that is breathed in and out by the wearer. As you've seen, we've always wanted to pursue excellence in academic medicine, healthcare and science. And I'm pleased to say that long before the C word was ubiquitous, our research has been rated highly. In May of this year, we received the outcome of the latest Research Excellence Framework, sometimes shorthanded REF. And this is an assessment across the entire United Kingdom. We punched far above our weight for our relative size, and were delighted that in a field of 129 institutions, we were ranked jointly 8 for research impact. What does impact mean? Impact means that discoveries that went beyond theory to create concrete, practical benefits. 91% of the research that we talked about in these impacts was rated as world-leading. That's pretty impressive from a place in Tooting. It's testimony to the outstanding researchers that we do have at George's. Other examples that have made a difference are the terrible mortality rates, death rates amongst babies in both developed and poor countries and rich countries equivalently of sepsis. We've done research and found that the reason for this is that the treatments that we're using are no longer effective. So we're developing new treatments and applying them. We're also doing groundbreaking research into sports people. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the stories of sudden collapse in the sporting arena. And we have expertise in sudden cardiac death. And it is the most common cause of death in elite athletes. What we're interested in is prevention. and investigating the electrical patterns of the hearts in athletes, led by his team, Professor Sanjay Sharma, has identified signals. They have influenced international recommendations. And I'm again talking about impact. We've increased our ability to detect abnormalities in black athletes from only 40% to 84%. And equivalently, but not to quite the same amount, increased the ability to detect this in white athletes. For those individuals and their families, that is truly life-saving. We also have become more visible as a university. Perhaps because of your association with the university and by your nearest and dearest, you may be aware that we've been highly cited in the media over this time. Only very recently, there was a BBC Two documentary entitled Unvaccinated. And our activities in the media have been a combination of hard science, but also, very importantly, calling on our expertise in communication to help make sense and explain things on the basis of the facts as they evolved. We've also celebrated markers of esteem. Professor Tom Harris was elected as a Fellow of the Academy of Medical Sciences, and Professor John Friedland was appointed to the UK Health Security Agency Advisory Board. Our footprint may begin in Tooting, but our links are truly global and in every part of the world. The esteem also results in funding success. St George's University Hospitals Foundation Trust, with which we share a site, many clinical academics and much research activity, has also gained accreditation as a clinical research facility from the National Institute of Health Research. Sounds all a bit wordy, doesn't it? But it's a real badge of honour and places us completely, gaining status as somewhere that we're in the map to do high-quality clinical research. We're very proud of this award. Going on to our teaching. We're very proud to embed it within this clinical and research active environment. And we want to make our high-quality education accessible to people from all backgrounds. I hope that you've recognised already that St George's has a wonderfully diverse community. Our goal is to attract talent regardless of circumstance, and we deliver success. A recent study by the Institute of Fiscal Studies and the Sutton Trust looked at the proportion of students from low-income backgrounds at every university in the country. They assessed the students at the age of 30 in terms of employment and income. Again, we led the way. We were ranked 7th in the country. We're proud of this association and proof of social mobility. Another point, not lost on me as a practicing doctor, is that we need to educate a healthcare workforce that's truly representative of the wider society that it serves. So, coming to the end and to addressing you as a group, you're embarrassingly and enormously talented as a group of individual students, now alumni. Your time with us, I hope, gave you the opportunity to be a sports star, perhaps a social star, that's where you wanted to thrive. Some of you have even started your own businesses with entrepreneurial flair. Many of you have had to work during the time of your studies. You might have great musical or performing abilities, but whatever your special talent, all of you should be incredibly proud of what you've achieved. We would like to thank you for everything that you contributed. Your hard work and you've demonstrated that you're going to go on to make outstanding contributions to society. There are a huge variety of avenues which you're going to go down. Believe you me, sometimes you don't always feel highly valued, but the world is totally desperate for your skills. You are going to take your skills into the workplace, and the other one table that we come first in, not even in the top 10, but first in, is graduate prospects. In other words, what you have been trained to do, the world is desperate for and wants to employ. So, we're delighted that you chose St George's. I'm sure it's an exciting day today where you can bask in the wonderful atmosphere. But going forward, with those emotions of a relief of having passed, but also excitement to the future, I'd like to invite you now to come to the stage, but also to come and keep in touch with us. You are our alumni. The relationship will continue. We're so excited to see what you do in the future. Thank you.
It's now time to greet former students whose achievements the university celebrates today. Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of St George's University of London, may I present all graduates from the Diagnostic Radiography Programme. Ali El Rumani. Anhar Abdullah. Aisha Ahmed. Sarah Jane Akinolu. Rachel Anderson. Mohammed Ashur. Freya Burton Safrez. Elena Siabanu. Olivia Cole. Mayura Delvis. Senem Donna. Wajma Farouk. Andrea Gutierrez. Mariam Hassan. Asma Hassan. Kafia Hassan. Rania Osman Hersi. Farah Hussain. Awarded the Learning Gain Prize, Arouj Irfan. Drita Ismaili. Daria Yaskiewicz. Sahil Kabir. Janusha Kegaswaran. Iftikharul Islam Khan. Aisha Khatun. Awarded the Principal's Prize, Claire Krasnicki. Chrisley Lakai. Fatimo Mohammed. Meryl Mehmed. Sixamo Mohammed. Marianne Mohammed. Robel Mohammed. Hamida Molana. Amal Omar. Shukriya Omar. Shreya Patel. Irma Pleogate. Ovia Saravan Mufu. Ulina Thapa. Rebecca Williams. Awarded the Clinical Prize, Saffron Williams. Nadira Withnachichi.
Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of St George's University of London, may I present all graduates from the Healthcare Practice Programme. Jisha Kadalali Parambil Pilos. Sandra Miksh. Faye Craythorne. Jordan Roy. Asta Gebremichael. Laura Jane Tate. Laura Walther. Imogen Watkins. Mark Zabiri. Samuel Marshall. Nathan Ward. Bessie Cipriano. Enyola Adekunle. Deborah Oluwatosin Ayodele. Sophie Bennett. Saul Gaunt. Olawabsola Ogasaitan. Florence O. Emiwabosa. Pratap Persidos. Sean Tahara. Hayley Ward. Adana Williams. Jennifer Caskin. Lala Dizon. Sarah Gunay. Richard McGurr. Luke Sheehan. Paula Sidfer. Vashti Dal Singh. Alida Kara. Febin Jivagesi. Karen Maher. Nikki Yun. James Roberts.
Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of St. George's, University of London, may I present all graduates from the Occupational Therapy Programme. Yusra Desai. Lauren Doan. Natalie Dunkley. Wadad Faghi. Patricia Hayward. Absar Kaisar. Gabriella Casca. Darian Mason Laws. Awarded the Principal's Prize, Hannah Melvin. Joanna Mishuk. Georgia Noble. Wendy Stillwell. Danica Williams. Callie Wyatt Gassanran.
Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of St George's University of London, may I present all graduates from the Therapeutic Radiography Programme. Awarded the Best Research Project Prize, Sama Ahmed. Awarded the George's Skills Master Award and the Most Improved Clinical Performance Prize, Corneliu Kazaku. Awarded the George's Skills Master Award and the Learning Gain Prize, Megan Hayes. Awarded the George's Skills Master Award, Insia Khan. Ushva Qureshi. Awarded the George's Skills Master Award and the prize for promoting the profession, Nia Roderick. Samira Shire. Awarded the George's Skills Master Award and the Principal's Prize, Benita Thomas. We have now reached the part of the ceremony where we give an honorary fellowship. Professor Julian Marr will say a few words and present Professor Paul Jones with his honorary fellowship.
Chair of Council, Vice-Chancellor, graduates, family and friends. It is customary for universities to award honorary degrees at graduation ceremonies to people who have contributed in some way to the goals of the university. You may have heard of celebrities being honoured in this way, also exceptional individuals from business, sport, politics and other walks of life. But it's always a special privilege when we are able to recognise one of our own, as we do today. As all our graduates will know, there is no greater critic than family. So this award to Professor Paul Jones is a heartfelt reflection of his achievements and contributions as a doctor, as a research scientist, and as a leader at St George's. Paul is the Emeritus Professor of Respiratory Medicine at our university. He came to St George's in 1985 as a senior lecturer and became the world's leading expert on measuring symptoms and health status in patients with lung diseases. He retired in 2015 and now works as the Global Medical Director at GlaxoSmithKline. He has published over 360 scientific research articles, 55 of those since retirement, which suggests that retirement is not quite the right word to use. But it's not just about the quantity of research, it's more about the quality, And those of you who have an interest in how academics like us are judged may well have heard about something called the H index. This reflects the extent that other scientists talk about your work. Paul's H index is astronomically high at 109, and to put that into perspective for you, Albert Einstein's H index is a mere 108. Paul's interest in medical research was piqued as a teenager, reading about vivisection, but he initially studied physiology and biochemistry at the University of Southampton before entering medical training as a graduate in Charing Cross Hospital Medical School. This, of course, was at a time before graduate entry medicine was a thing. He subsequently studied for a PhD in respiratory physiology, trying to understand the control of breathing. He started to develop an interest in psychometric assessment during a clinical attachment at St Helier Hospital, when he spotted the need for a faster, more effective way to assess patients' symptoms. In particular, he noticed that nurses were far better at assessing patients than the doctors, and that they discovered much more detail simply by the different way in which they talked to their patients. He set up a large randomized controlled study to assess the impact of nurses on measuring health status, a study which he now admits could have more simply been achieved just by asking the patients how much they liked their nurses. But from there developed the first UK respiratory questionnaire, and at that stage I suspect that even Paul did not know how important that questionnaire would become. The questionnaire has been developed and refined over the years, incorporating new techniques for assessment in education, and initially it was used in patients with asthma and COPD, but its use has been broadened to other areas, including rare lung diseases and, of course, COVID. What is now known as the St George's Respiratory Questionnaire measures the impact of respiratory disease on patients' daily lives and well-being, and it is recognized across the world as the gold standard for measuring the effectiveness of treatments. As a result, it has been used in literally thousands of clinical research studies over the past few decades. Alongside this work, Professor Jones has been a principal and chief investigator on numerous landmark clinical trials in lung disease and treatment. He was a member of the Global Initiative for COPD Committee for many years, and in his current role at GlaxoSmithKline, he continues to run large clinical trials around the world. Over a period of more than 30 years at St George's, Paul Jones has used his considerable analytical and organizational skills in many other ways to benefit our university. Perhaps most significantly, he was the medical director for St George's NHS Trust from 1998 to 2004, the hospital's research and development director from 2007 to 2010, and the head of the Division of Clinical Sciences at the university from 2010 to 2014. In this latter role, he played a major part in creating the university's research structure, which continues to this day. In planning for this introduction, I sought out a number of Paul's long-standing colleagues at St George's in the hope of digging up an amusing and possibly embarrassing anecdote to share with you. The fact that absolutely no one told me anything at all of interest suggests either that Paul is some kind of evil genius or that he is universally admired and respected, and I suspect it's the latter. One thing that was clear, though, was the extent to which he has quietly nurtured and mentored the careers of many of our current staff and students, ensuring that his legacy at St George's will endure for many years to come. For his outstanding contributions to respiratory research and his service to our great institution, I now request you, Vice-Chancellor, by the authority of Council, to admit Professor Paul Jones as an Honorary Fellow of St George's, University of London.
Thank you very much, Julian. Of course, I didn't recognize that in what he said, but I am scary. Today, actually, it's a great pleasure to be here, but I'm quite frightened because I have given literally thousands of talks across the board in over 60 countries, but I've always been able to say, first slide, please. and I don't have my psychosocial prop, my friend. So I'm going to talk briefly using 3 questions that people have put to me over the years. The first one, it comes in various forms, is that, Professor Jones, how can I have a career like yours? And I think, oh no. So I would like to give the answer that I'm going to give you now, but I try and be more polite. And I say, if you don't know, I can't explain it to you. Now, that's not original. I first heard that at a Physiological Society meeting in Oxford decades ago. In the 1970s, respiratory physiology was at the cutting edge of medical research. It isn't anymore, but it was then. And the senior, most leading, most respected figure was a professor named Dan Cunningham. And someone at Oxford, Dan was from Oxford, asked him a question at the end of his presentation. And Dan said, if you don't understand, I can't explain it to you. Now, that might sound arrogant, but it completely wasn't. It was a very humble statement. And that had a big impression on me. I was completely in awe of Dan. When I examined a PhD with him many years later, I went around telling people, I examined a PhD with Dan Cunningham. He was a complete hero of mine. But he taught me you can be the very best, the most authoritative, and still be humble in public. So let's move back a few years to when I come to medical school. And I discovered clinical medicine, and I was good at it. It was the first and probably the only thing in life that I've been good at. It came to me like ducks to water, falling off a log. I would go home and read medical textbooks like other people read novels. I got honours in medicine. So where you are thinking, does the humility come in? Well, just wait a second. I should have been more specific. I was talking about internal medicine. There's more to medicine than internal medicine. There is, for example, obstetrics and gynecology. And the only word to describe my ability as an undergraduate in obstetrics and gynecology can't be used here. Now, this is where the most remarkable person, by the way, I did try it. I really worked at it, but obstetrics and gynecology and me didn't click. Now I'm going to tell you about the most remarkable person that I ever met, and I think Professor Hyam may have known her. She's Dame Josephine Barnes. In the 1950s and 60s, she was the youngest triple fellow. That's fellow of the Royal College of Physicians, fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons, and fellow of the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecology. She was a remarkable person. And she was very direct in the way she spoke to you. She spoke to us students the same way she spoke to the dean of the medical school. To her, we were in the same job, but her role was to teach and our role was to learn. But she spoke to us very directly. Now, she was also a mother. And she was talking about breastfeeding and the importance of breastfeeding and said, when I was on the ambulance, I was breastfeeding. And when she left, the 5 of us looked at each other and said, did she mean what she was saying? She said, and we concluded, yes, she was breastfeeding in the flying squad ambulance. Now that needs some explanation. After the war, well, for many years, women were dying at home from antepartum hemorrhage, postpartum hemorrhage, because there were far more home births than there are now. So there was a flying squad set up, an ambulance with an obstetrician, midwife. I'm not sure if there was an anaesthetist, and they went to the patient home. And Dame Josephine, we believe, was breastfeeding in the ambulance on the way to a case. Now, the modern equivalent of that is breastfeeding when you're wearing a helmet, a high-res suit, and you're jumping in a helicopter. The only advantage she had was that there wasn't a camera crew over her shoulder. Right, let's move forward to my final MBBS exam, which is different from today. We had a viva in obstetrics and a viva in gynecology. And I don't know which came first, but Dame Josephine asked me a question, and I felt that I hadn't quite got it right. A few days later, I had my other exam, and she asked me the same question, which I had forgotten, and I didn't answer that well. She said, "Mr. Jones, I asked you the same question 3 days ago, and you got the answer wrong, and you got the answer wrong today. However, I know a lot about you. I have been told that you will have a great career in medicine, and I'm very confident that you won't enter my specialty. So I am not going to stand in the way of your career." If she had failed me, everything would have come to a halt. And I owe that lady a great deal of gratitude, not just because she permitted me to continue and get my honours in medicine, because she taught me on that day something that's really important to all of us in the room, is that you make a decision not based on a formula, but based on an assessment of risk and benefit. And she judged, overall, the benefit of allowing me to qualify was greater than the risk of me doing obstetrics and gynecology. Right. The other two people I'm going to mention was, I actually wanted to become a renal physician, but the professor of medicine, who is a very famous renal physician, didn't get the PhD money in time. But he's probably my role model. At the age of 90, he was still coming into St. George's to work, do research with a protege of his, who was then a professor at St. George's. But in the Second World War, he was a physician in the army, and he was imprisoned in Changi prison camp. And they did the first proper study of vitamin B deficiency in the world that had ever been done. They wrote it down, their observations on scraps of paper, and buried it in cocoa tins in the ground, because if they were found, they'd be executed. At the end of the war, they dug it up and published it. And that taught me something. I'm a researcher, so it taught me you can do research in any circumstance. But it taught me you can, no matter how bad the circumstances, you can do something innovative and remarkable. He also taught me something else that's quite important. The only reason for being second is being right, which I've repeated many times over the years. My scientific daddy, who got the money for me, was a chest physician, Professor Abe Guz, and he was brilliant and eccentric. He taught me how to measure, and the key message he left with me was, if you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. Now, some of you may not entirely agree with that, love, hate, and so on, but it set me off, and you've heard what happened thereafter. So I just won't talk about that part of my career, except to say that it brought me in contact with the best brains in respiratory medicine across the world. And someone would say something, and I learned not to say, wow, that was good, why didn't I think of it? But to think, how did they think of that? What is it that I can learn from the way they are thinking and bring that into myself? Okay, second question. You spent a long time at senior management level in hospital and university. Why didn't you become a hospital chief executive or a principal or vice chancellor? The answer is because I didn't have the right temperament. I knew I didn't have the right temperament, and I wouldn't have enjoyed it. I enjoyed being senior management. I was very happy dealing with incoming flack from politicians and the media when I was medical director at St. George's, but I didn't have the temperament to be a vice chancellor. And that's really important to all of us, because I wouldn't really have enjoyed it. And to be the very best, you've got to enjoy what you're doing. That's a key message, I think. Okay, so that's why I didn't become any of those things. The last question I'm asked is, what's the most important and useful thing that you've been asked over your career. I said, my career hasn't finished yet, I'm still working, which I am. But I said, chance favours the prepared mind. Like everything I say is not original. It comes from Louis Pasteur. So let's put the components of my short talk together. What it means to you, no matter what your role in life is going to be. If you see something unexpected come along that looks interesting, that you might enjoy, grab it with both hands. But only after you've done a very careful risk-benefit assessment. Okay, so I'm coming to the end. About a third of a quarter of the people here are graduates and the rest are family. And I'd like to take this opportunity to do something I've never done before. And I've never done that before. So my wife, Jacinta, and my son, Nikhil, are somewhere in the audience. And I'd like to publicly thank them for the tens of thousands of hours that I spent in my study and the over 1,000 days I spent away from home working. And without that tolerance and that support, I wouldn't be here today. I should just point out that my traveling career started just after my son was born, but I can assure him that's just coincidence and not causality. So I'd like to thank you very much for your listening and your tolerance, listening to the musings of an old man, and to the graduates, please, for one thing, do for me, really enjoy your careers. Thank you very much.
We now resume presenting the academic awards to our former students. Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of St George's University of London, may I present all graduates from the Paramedic Practice Programme. Nadia de Sabitista. Susanna Bull. Victoria Bullen. Yannicka Graham. Susie Heimers. Daniel Jocelyn. Kate Kelly. Alana Powell. Rebecca Shaw. And Peter Stone.
Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of St George's University of London, may I present all graduates from the Paramedic Science programmes. Kira Ange. Lydia Amoabeng. Chloe Aspie. Anila Aswad. Catherine Bartle. Thomas Bezic. Toby Blanks. Abigail Blythe. Athena Bosch-Lasher. James Bowdry. Lauren Brett. Evan Charles. Caitlin Claringbold. Alex Cockburn. Awarded the Overall Achievement Prize for in-service students, Sam Collis. Andrew Crannan. Kira Crease. Sam Daly. Holly Denny. Mia Donahue. Hans Duma. Rachel East. Rebecca Eastwood. Molly Fisher. Miriam Foreman. Joseph Foreman. Lucy Frank. Jamie Gibson. Lucy Grove. Sam Guy. Vanessa Henley. Darcy Hepworth. Chris Hogan. Awarded the Principal's Prize, Grace Herford. Morgan James. Nicola Johnson Demisi. Beth Jones. Sarah Jones. Lauren Judge. Ian Kelly. Rachel Kemp. Sam Kendall. Joshua Kennedy. Jenny Lane. Alice Lane. Sean Lillis. Finley Maguire. Holly Marsh. Emily Marshall. Mark McGibbon. Rachel McKinnon. Emma Charlotte MacLeod. Lauren Moore. Philip Morris Recknell. Awarded the Oliver King and Immersive Education Prize, Will Nangle. Lewis Napier. Luke Nichols. Evie O'Donoghue. Gabriella Packman. Jodie Parks. Rachel Pankhurst. Joel Pescott. Thomas Roberts. Hannah Roger. Sophie Ryder. Andrew Sabas. Zoe Secret. Isabella Sessions. Charlotte Sharps. Awarded the Overall Achievement Prize, Anna Stark. Jacob Summers. Casey Tappenden. Andrew Turner. Nizam Uddin. Fern Usmar Watson. Awarded the Outstanding Endeavour Prize, along with Abby Blythe, Eleni Verity. Imogen Walker. Jess Wellen. Laura Whitbread. Holly Whitcomb. Ashley Whittam. Poppy Wilson. John Zumidis. And Thomas King.
Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of St George's University of London, may I present all the graduates from the Physiotherapy Programmes. Christian Albrecht. Awarded the Principal's Prize, Shanice Allen. Amelia Antonio. And awarded the prize for clinical excellence, Ya Apia Badu. Olivia Barker. Althea Bevan. Poppy Blendell. Naden Cortez. Ben Deason. Sonora Dicker. Caitlin Erlang. Cyan Henry. Andrea Havesi. Morgan Holden. Eleanor Jens. Ashley Josephs. Alex Kenny. Anissa Kudaruth. Dominika Kwasniewski. Georgia Legg. Izzy Meacham. Anna Moorhead. Georgie Moran-Wardle. Louise Moriarty. Sarah Nada. Zoe Nichols. Nana Kwanang Tuancha. Victoria Oprezedek. Emma O'Sullivan. Saj Rahman. Awarded the Principal's Prize, Amir Rashid. Catherine Signor. Harry Smith. Thomas Wesley. Aliyah Zaman. Naeem Abisag. Gabriella Burns. Sam Busby. Jillian Zaying Chan. Henry DeCandle. Robin Dodson. Mehazeen Engineer. Sophie Jones. Isabel Kotler. Gus Levinson. Emily Loud. Grace MacDonald. Catherine Mason. Chantal Pace. Jasmine Renfro. Awarded the Principal's Prize, Theo Ross. Mitchell Stokes. CJ Torres. Dominic Williams. Andalucci Zelek. And Vice-Chancellor, that concludes the awards to be presented at today's ceremony. I now invite Professor Jane Safel to lead us in the St George's Pledge.
The pledge is taken by all graduates on graduation day, and it's an opportunity for us to collectively recognise core values that guide us in our professional lives. Reading the pledge aloud is one of the most powerful moments in the academic year. By taking the pledge together, we acknowledge values that are central to all our endeavours, such as seeking help, avoiding harm, respecting one another's rights, and the importance of warmth, compassion, and understanding. So I now invite all graduates who've graduated today to stand up and read the pledge. You will find the pledge on the last page of your programme. So make sure that you can all see that programme and have found the last page. I'll just wait for the last few to find their seats. So it's the last page of the programme, and please would you all read aloud now with me. I pledge myself and promise I will respect the learning and achievements of those professionals in whose steps I walk, and gladly share such knowledge as is mine with those who are to follow. I will apply to benefit humanity all measures which are required. I will remember that there is an art to all professional endeavours, and that warmth, compassion, and understanding may equal any other intervention. I will not be ashamed to say, I know not, nor will I fail to call on my colleagues when the knowledge or skills of another are needed. I will respect the privacy of my fellow human beings, for their problems are not disclosed to me that the world may know. Most especially, I must tread with care where others place their trust in me. I will relate my work to the human state, which may affect a person's family and economic stability. I will remember that I remain a member of society with special obligations to all my fellow human beings, including the most vulnerable and marginalised. I make this declaration solemnly, freely, and in humility. I invite Christine Swaby, the Chair of Council, to close our ceremony today.
Well, good morning, everyone. What a wonderful morning we've all had, a morning of celebration. And I feel really privileged to have been here with you this morning to celebrate your achievements. And I'm sure you'll agree, it's made all the more special by the fact that we've not had many occasions to meet and celebrate like this during our period of COVID, when I know that's been so challenging to so many people. But looking at the students, for you, of course, you successfully completed what in many ways is the beginning of a journey of training and education, which will continue long into the future. I really do applaud your personal commitment and celebrate with you and acknowledge the positive impact your professionalism and expertise will bring to benefit all of society. You should be enormously proud of everything you've accomplished and just enjoy this moment of celebration. St. George's, as many of you will know, has a long and enormously proud history. It traces its roots back to 1733, and many pioneers in medicine have come through St. George's. Edward Jenner, for example, who created the smallpox vaccine, and Henry Gray, whose textbook on anatomy is still used today. But you, as our alumni, are now the guardians and the inheritors of that unique and proud reputation. We don't just celebrate that history to acknowledge what happened in the past, but as an inspiration to what can be achieved in the future. Medical science is progressing at an astonishing rate, and who knows how many future renowned practitioners or groundbreaking researchers we have amongst us today. But before we close today's ceremony, there's a few people that I think we would all like to thank and acknowledge. that made this morning's ceremony so special. So first of all, could I ask everyone to join me in thanking our marvellous musicians that have played so beautifully as everyone progressed across the stage. As I know you'll appreciate, organising an event like this, getting everyone in the right place at the right time, filing across in exactly the right order is no mean feat. And it involves quite a considerable team, too many to mention. But could I just ask you to show your appreciation for all those who've been involved in organising today? We often speak about St. George's as being a community, and I'd like the students to think about some of the people who have helped them and supported them at St. George's from all different specialties and walks of life. I'm immensely proud of how people pulled together during the pandemic to continue to deliver for our students. It really was an extraordinary team effort. Too many to mention, but including teachers, tutors, administrators, librarians, welfare officers, receptionists, and so many more. I know every single one of the team is immensely proud of your achievements, but can I ask you to just show your appreciation to them for everything that they did for you during your time with us? And finally, and I think probably most importantly, I know you as students will want to acknowledge the very special role that your family and your friends have played in helping you and supporting you in so many different ways to achieve your ambitions of advancing your careers, whether that be in healthcare, in medicine, or some aspect of science. Your achievement today is also their achievement. So could I please ask everybody who has graduated this afternoon to rise to your feet and have in your mind and show your appreciation the loved ones who are with you today and also those that you carry in your heart. It's lovely to hear and lovely to have experienced everyone supporting our graduates today. It's been a joyous occasion. So today you've all become fully fledged members of the St. George's family. Please remember to keep in touch with us. We want to learn and hear from you about your future achievements. And please let us know your news, and I encourage you to visit with our development and alumni team, who you'll find with a stand outside. But really, to conclude, today is first and last about your achievement, and I would just like to add my personal congratulations to all of you. Can I now please ask everyone to stand for the national anthem and then to remain standing as the academic procession leaves?